You obviously knew Coach Paterno quite well. Glen Mason knew him quite well as well, another BTN analyst who joins us now on the telephone. And Mace, appreciate you taking some time out of your day. Give me your sense as you learn the news today that statue had come down, someone who, again, you counted as a friend, as a rival as well. What do you make of everything that's transpired?
Well, Dave, frankly, I'm not surprised that President Erickson made this decision. I thought that it was just a matter of time that they would take this step because, as he mentioned, part of the healing process for the victims, for the university, for the students that are there, that it was just too much of a visible sign of this tragic chain of events that have taken place that I think that I know for myself and I think for many that knew Joe close are still absolutely shocked by. But I'm not surprised that they did it.
Now, Mace, again, we were talking off the top of our show here that this, in some ways, while it is very significant and clearly was a point of discussion, and I think we can interpret, given the timeline and the time frame that it took for it to come down, it was a point of some dispute as well internally at Penn State. Saying all that, it seems as if it is about to become a bit of a footnote. And on this day, I think you can make an argument that it already is a bit of a footnote. Gerry was talking earlier about the NCAA move, the announcement today that there will be a press conference tomorrow to announce punitive measures against Penn State. What is your reaction to the fact that this has happened as quickly as it has?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised by that because, and I think Gerry would agree with me, typically when the NCAA gets involved in any type of action, it's normally a long, drawn-out committee-type action, and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and as something compared to this is really insignificant when you talk about extra benefits, a guy getting a free movie theater ticket or something like that compared to this. It's been just a matter of days that the free report has been out, and I'm sure they weren't privileged to that report before the public was. So I'm a little bit surprised. I have no idea what action they're going to take, but I'm somewhat surprised that they're taking this quick action. But, let's face it, it's almost August 1st. If it's going to involve this any penalties that might possibly involve this season, they got to go quick.
Glen Mason with us here on the phone. And Mace, I know you've seen these pictures throughout the morning. We were showing them just moments ago of the statue being dismantled. As you look back, and I asked Gerry the same question, as you look back kind of over the enormity of this past year and where we were a year ago in terms of how people thought of Joe Paterno and how they think of Joe Paterno now, what strikes you?
Well, first of all, I've used a lot of words over the last couple months, from shock to disillusion. It's still the word that comes to my mind. Yes, I was very close to Joe Paterno, but I knew Tim Curley pretty darn well, too, and I had the utmost respect for Graham Spanier, not only at his days at Penn State, but when he was the president of Nebraska, when I competed against Nebraska when I was at the University of Kansas. And you talk about three people there that I would have put in a class of their own as far as the finest people that you ever wanted to meet, that had unbelievable integrity and honesty in every way, shape, or form, people that you would just bank everything on, that in every situation they would do the right thing, the absolutely right thing. And I've always, one of the things that when I was coaching, I always prided myself, and I used to talk to my coaches all the time, is, I want to treat other people's kids the way that I want people to treat my own kids. And I always thought that put a whole different perspective on things. And when you think in this situation that, really involved other people's kids in a very dangerous, very tragic situation, these people that I held in such high esteem, obviously now you come to realization didn't do the right thing. And I am absolutely disillusioned, shocked by it.
Hey, Mace, you've spent most of your life on several college campuses. As we go forward, not only for Penn State, but for other universities, what are some of the lessons to be learned as a result of this?
Well, I think, first of all, I think that the Board of Trustees, Board of Regents, whatever you want to call them at all the universities, I think this is a wake-up call for them. Typically, like Board of Directors of companies, you're supposed to be in place to the checks and balances to make sure everything is done right, to hold the leadership, as I heard you mention before, Gerry, accountable. And I think a lot of people will be taking a very close look just at how their universities are run, not only just in athletics, but in everything across the board, because, it's amazing. The thing that I spent a lot of time with Joe, as you know, competed against him. Every time I went to do a game in State College, I met with him, stayed overnight, had dinner with him, spent a lot of time on the Nike trips. And when I was watching that clip on our network there of him breaking the record against Ohio State, Gerry, and I heard you mention it, one of Joe's famous comments that he used to make to me all the time was, when you think you got it made, disaster's right around the corner. And boy, is that ever so true. And you work a lifetime and you do so many positive things, and then you do one big mistake that just dwarfs everything else that you ever did good. And I think that's a lesson for all of us.
Glen Mason, Big Ten Network analyst. Glenn, thanks a lot for your time this morning. We will talk to you soon.
Thank you.